All right, guys, what is going on? Pastor Sean with the Good Battle Church Ministries, and this is actually the first episode of the Death Church podcast, where I'm going to be talking for about an hour. And I actually haven't, and this is episode 11, and I actually have not technically made an episode for about maybe, I don't know, maybe it's definitely been over a year. I know that. It definitely has been over a year. And you know what, guys, I just wanted to, normally what would have gone at this point for the Sunday video, because if you guys are new to my channel, I release a video every Sunday, and I also do a new Bible study where I read the Bible for about 20 minutes and then just get you guys caught up on what's going on in my life and whatnot online live on Facebook. I do that every Wednesday night now, so 2 videos a week. But the other one only gets loaded onto my regular Facebook account. I don't load those videos up onto the YouTube channel. So it's just like a bonus thing. But anyways, so what normally would have went here is the filming for the Q&A for an hour of February's Q&A video. But I just figured for this month, we're going to do something just a little bit different. I just think I need to just look inside myself and try to maybe... guys, I just turned on the heater here for my apartment, and I think that the heater is burning off all the dust and whatever it is that's stuck up there. It looks like the guy actually put a new filter on this. It smells pretty disgusting, actually. Guess I'm just going to have to wait until all that burns off and the smell will go away. So, anyways... I just need to take a look and a scope to look inside myself. Just for this month, I'm going to be looking inside myself and actually thinking about the fact that it's probably been about over a year since I recorded an episode of the Death Church Radio podcast. We actually recorded a full 30-minute length episode last night, but with me, my friend, and my brother, but it needs to be heavily edited down because of white noise and things like that. We were a little bit all over the place. I was drinking last night a little bit. We actually had these things that just came out. Well, I don't know if they just came out, but so what Pastor Sean likes to do is he does like to smoke, or not smoke, he likes to drink on Friday nights, and that's usually the only time I'll drink unless I've had a really, really tough day at work. Then I'll go down to the Walgreens I live next to and buy one of those cheap bottles of wine for $7-8. So, I mean, it's... So, well, anyways, what I drank last night is like this thing. I'm actually already getting sick of it. It's, I had a couple drinks with my brother and my friend who is also the co-host of the show that's going to be most likely coming out next week, called White Claws. But I'm not going to put it over like all that much. It's just basically it's an alcoholic drink that's 5%, but it has no sugar, no calories in it. So it's like a drink for UFC fighters, a drink for women's volleyball players, things of that sort. If you don't want all the calories. This is not a commercial, but anyways, so we drank a couple of those, but it's pretty gross. So I don't know if I'm going to be buying that again next week. I'm one of those pastors that believes in, even though technically, when I was in prayer, I guess this would have to be something that I should repent for, because while I was in prayer, I heard God tell me to quit drinking like 2 weeks ago. So, it's just been kind of difficult to stop drinking entirely because, I mean, and I actually didn't drink last week. I actually haven't drank that much in like a month or so. I think I did about 5 weeks ago. I sort of did, but I mean, I quit drinking heavily back when I was living at the apartment complex with, I would actually say I don't really over drink. It hasn't really happened in the last 3 years where it was getting to the point where it was getting dangerous. That actually hasn't happened in a long time, and then eventually I'm just going to cut it out altogether. Because I did find out last week that I can have fun by just being sober. It's doable. You don't need to, it's like those lyrics in that Section 80 album by Kendrick Lamar. where he has that part in the song where he says, you don't got to drink in order to have fun. So, but this is going to be just something to self-reflection. So kind of doing a Q&A with myself as opposed to helping out other people online. But don't worry, that's going to be coming back, because I think it's a really good thing to do once a month of all different kinds of questions anonymously off of different websites for people looking for advice who feel like they're just stuck in their lives or they're stuck in their situations, and try to give them the best advice that I possibly can to help them. So it's something, it's something good, but just for this month, I think instead, this is just going to be focused on myself and my problems. I was actually driving around and getting my coffee, and then I actually bought 4 tacos for some reason, even though I don't think it's too good of an idea to start off your day by eating like really unhealthy fast food, but that's just what I felt like eating, I guess. I mean, I didn't want to go to IHOP, and I certainly didn't want to go down to the Fry's to buy a carton of eggs and buy milk and whatnot, sit there and cook. I don't like to cook, so that's why I eat so much fast food and TV dinners all the time. But anyways, I was driving around listening to this clip show of Theo Vaughn, and when I was driving around, I was just thinking to myself, that I just feel empty, like inside. And I actually feel this most of the time, and I'll fill it up with different things. I mean, it's not like things are going bad in my life. They're actually going very good right now. It's just, I just feel lonely a lot. Even, that's just something I've always felt with. This is something that Pastor Sean has always dealt with. And I'm sure there's going to be guys and women that listen to the show and say, not really, because you can just pray to Jesus and just ask him to come into your heart, or to reveal his presence to you, reveal the Holy Spirit's presence, and then you won't feel lonely. So and I completely agree with that, because it's happened several times. I felt good for 2 days straight, more like a day and a half, when I did that live Bible study. I feel great, and I feel it's a really positive experience to go back to what I used to do and teach, but just sitting there, just reading the Bible and break down verse by verse for 20 minutes, and then do these videos where I do my explorations or prayer videos, or even when you try to give people advice and help people. It's just something I've just always struggled with, I guess. It's just something that I've always felt deep inside, and I think one of the reasons, I actually don't know where it comes from. I'm not exactly sure, but it's just something that I think it has to do with not being married at this point. It's just still something that bugs me, and not having a kid, or not having a family. It's just something that still, I wouldn't necessarily say it haunts me. It's just something that it just has made me feel like it's just something I need, even though something I actually desperately need, because I think about it a lot. Just like someone who takes a vow of celibacy, but then they keep going through these stages because it's just been such a long time since there was any kind of sexual intercourse. And here's the thing though, you're supposed to get married, preferably to someone who was of the faith, just like you are, because they could lead you astray if you don't. So that's what Paul talks about, and John Piper actually has a video about young Christians dating. So it's preferred that you date someone that's of the faith, but if you don't, then God can still bless that relationship. He still bless you. So, he did tell me when I was in prayer, and I know there's a lot of people out there also who don't think that God still talks to people, but I'm here to say that he does, because he talks to me. It's hard to distinguish at times whether he's talking to you or your inhibition, the inner critic, your inner coach talks to you, or it's a demon talking to you. It's kind of hard to distinguish those, but when I talked to God, because I actually got really frustrated and really upset, he actually made me feel better, and I felt his presence, like he was calming me down in the moment, And then he said, my son, trust me in all things. And that's all, that was it. So I'm supposed to trust him in all things of all timelines. It's just, the problem is that it's just very difficult to do. I'm sure that's with most, I would actually assume that's just with most people. It's just something that's difficult with someone who just feels that they're lonely a lot. And I didn't necessarily feel like I was lonely back when I was in a relationship about like two and a half years ago. I mean, it's just not like, no, it was about 2 years ago. It's just not really something that, this is something that I would say that I've always, kind of struggled with, I guess, where I've also have talked about this, not sure where I did, but I know I talked about this on my channel before about me having a problem with the fact that I feel I'm a little too judgmental with women when the Bible says the complete opposite, and you're not supposed to be. It's just, attraction is just, to me, it's very strange. So, it's actually mostly a scenario where I keep shooting myself in the foot because I'll find a reason as to why I can't date this woman, and then I'll break it off from her and then wonder why I am mad because I'm lonely. So self-sabotaging. It's something like that. So it's just something that's just really been on my heart and my mind like a lot lately, where I'm always trying to think of the most logical explanation as to why I need to feel happy while being single and alone. And then I'll seek out God, and then I'll seek out other things to make myself feel better and whatnot. So it's about a little self-reflection for Pastor Sean today. I mean, that's just not like the only thing also going on in my life. I mean, the job is what it is, and now I actually technically now have a literary agent, and there is a possibility now, there is a chance, like a throw of the dice, that I can quit my job in a reasonable amount of time and still pay my bills without being too worried. So, because right now, Pastor Sean is working on a book of poetry. It's going to be 100 poems of all Christian-esque poetry that are based on the Bible and based off sermons that I watch and based off my life with like inspirational lessons and whatnot. So basically like, something that's positive that could be sold in like gospel music supplies or Walmart and Target, stuff like that. And if this book pops off and I start getting pretty good, even just semi-good paychecks, like if I sell just enough to pay my bills and maybe have some fun money on the side, have money to buy food and clothes and things like that. I mean, there you go. I mean, I'm not even asking for too much just to pay my bills with my books. So anyways, I have a literary agent, and we talked on the phone a couple nights ago, and she's going to give me a call or shoot me an email in 3 months asking how the book's going. And then so I'm going to be hoping not hoping, but praying to God that he uses my books for his purposes and that people would buy them, and then I can actually not be so stressed out and upset so much of the time during the week because of my, I'm just getting pounded from all sides. Like, that's how I feel right now. Even though I'm still trying to project a positive, good attitude and to just let God be God, I just feel like it's like what the Queen said from that one book. You're running as fast as you can to stay in place. And even though I'm not doing that anymore because I now have an end goal with this book, and hopefully Christ will use it to send the book into all different places of the world, like what he's been doing with my show, since I'm getting likes from like all these different countries and whatnot now. Like, I'm actually gaining a pretty significant audience, but I need money, and I think once that happens, then I would actually feel a lot better. I would be much less depressed, feeling and angry and anxious all the time, since I wouldn't have to go to a job that's just so ridiculously demanding. Okay, guys, we will be right back. All right, everybody. Ooh, that's odd. I was charging my phone for about the last 13 minutes, and I noticed that the back of my phone's really hot. Like, it feels like it's going to explode in my hand. Welcome back, everybody. Glad I got that out of my system again. But it's like an ever-flowing well. It's like a spring of disappointment and discord. It's kind of how it is, I guess, with me. I don't know how it is with people. Like, I mean, one of the things that I would be doing if I had a chance to just go back to being unemployed is I felt good about it. And I had some money like from these book sales I'm going to be doing. Hopefully. So guys, pray about that. Oh, hold on. Pastor Sean could be that dude. What does that mean? Hold on. I just got a text from the group chat right now. Oh, he's talking about the card I just bought. Okay. So, I have this strange plan that's a 401k plan that I made up at work while I was hanging out with my coworker. And so what I like to do, instead of signing up for the 401k plan at work where they take $30 out of every check you make every 2 weeks, I spend $30 on a card. So I got 3 of them right here. And they are all, I only buy 10s. So every card I buy is mint condition in these cases. Let's see, I'm turning the light here. And I just bought a Paul Pierce 98 card that's graded 10 mint condition. So that's how I'm doing this 401k thing. And then I'm going to sell all these cards. I'm going to stack them up in my closet, maybe put them in a big box, or probably even eventually display them at some point. And excuse me, when I'm 57 or 58, whenever it's time to retire, I'm going to sell all my cards. But this is what, 29 years in the future. So these cards are going to be 2 to 3 times more than what I bought them for. So then there's like 20 to 30 grand right there. I'll just hire someone to sell them all for me. And I got these cards I've been buying. So right here, I got a mint condition Steve Nash on the Suns from 96 to 97. So this is not a rookie's card though, but anyway, so all these cards are about $30 each. The most expensive one I bought is a mint condition Devin Booker. He's a current player on the Suns right now. So I got 2 Suns cards. This one I bought for technically $40. And then I got a big one of Steve Young right here, mint condition, game day 1993. So I'm going to actually bring these cards over and show my dad. But I bought a Paul Pierce 98 card. A lot of 90s cards that I've noticed that I've been buying lately. But anyways, so that is my 401k plan. I thought it would go outside the box and start collecting mint condition sport cards. I thought it would be interesting to do something like that. So I'm glad I got that out of my system. I feel like it's just 2 wells going in 2 separate directions. Like there's a divide in the middle, like a stream coming from a river. One is like the flowing water of Christ, which is which he was talking about. The Holy Spirit is in you. Like when he was talking to that woman who had like 4 previous marriages or something, and he guessed that with his gift of prophecy. When he told the woman that, she said, "Oh, can you go ahead and dump that bucket in the well and then bring the water up?" And he said, "I can give you water that's never going to be empty." Something like that. I actually haven't read that part in the Bible right now in a while. I've read probably about 5 or 6 different translations of the Bible, and probably about 3 times over. But now I'm going to go through the entire Bible again because I haven't done it in such a long time. Where right now, like, I just had a online Bible study where I read through Genesis chapter 2, or no, Genesis chapter 1 verse 28 to chapter 2 verse 19. So that's what that was a Bible study. So I'm going to go from Genesis to Revelation on, but you got to be my friend on Facebook if you want to see that one. But anyways, so one well is the living water of the Spirit, and then the other well is how my creativity works with me writing books, sketching, painting, drawing, whatever, to just get the negativity out of my system because I build that up inside, and then it just springs forth, and it's like and then it can turn into like a bombardment kind of thing. It's like a flowing well whenever I get really, really mad or upset about whatever, like what I was talking about at the beginning of the podcast with the loneliness thing, and it just spurts out. And then that's how I get my creativity. So by using that stress and turning it into art. So it's like with, I don't know if it's with every person, like I was saying, but with me, it's like two wells going in two streams going in two different directions. One's pushing negativity out, and one's just the holy water coming out, because I'll pray to God and actually give it to people. So, like, I probably have living water in me right now I could just randomly give to somebody. So, I was going to talk about what's been going on in my week, too. And, well, anyways, going back to what I was previously saying about if I was unemployed, what I would like to do is do a podcast thing like what I'm doing with you guys right now, but have a guest on the show like what Joe Rogan does. And because I watch this show every Tuesday. And so what I would like to do is just go back to doing something like that, where it would just be me and another person, and we would just sit there and talk for like 2 to 3 hours, and then I do it like a Monday through Thursday kind of thing. And that's something that I would really like. That's something I would really enjoy doing. So the with the podcast, it's definitely something that I could see myself doing. Because I have been putting out regular videos of different time lengths onto my channel every Sunday for the last 8 months. So you would actually think it'd be more videos than it is, but I looked on the Sean C. Stuckey channel on YouTube, and actually technically I only have about 88 videos. My goal was to get up to 200, because at the time when I started doing that over again, where I was releasing on a normal basis, but with like mostly Christian content, that I wanted to have as many videos, but good videos like Jordan Peterson does. But now that's not like the aim of my direction anymore. It's just to put it out every Sunday just from now on. The one guy I watch, Pastor Doug Perry, that I put on sometimes, that guy has literally like 1,300 videos on his YouTube channel, including on the Fellowship of the Martyrs website page. Sometimes I just look at that and think to myself, like, where does he get the time to just sit there and do this all day? But, it's just, to me, that's really, really crazy, because even though I consider myself a very creative, like, artistic person, and I make drawings, and I mostly write, like, poems and short stories and stuff. I don't know how some YouTubers out there, or some writers who would just sit there and write a show, or just make these 15 to 20 to 25 minute videos like every day, and they just have hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of videos. Like some of those YouTubers I saw on there that like do those like gaming channels have like 700 to 800 videos. It's like, where do you get the time to do all this? But like, even back when I was unemployed, living at my parents' house, and even going back before that, I was still only putting out maybe a video once every couple weeks to a month. Like, because I've been putting out YouTube videos of doing like Christian ministry kind of stuff since 2011, and I think maybe altogether my videos would include up to, I don't know, I would say maybe about 100 to 110 videos. It's not really that, it's just not that much. I just feel like when people, especially people that are putting like Minecraft videos or videos of Fortnite or something like that, who are just uploading every day to like Twitch or whatever, I just feel like those people are just wasting their time. They're not contributing to our community. They're not contributing to God's church. I guess it's completely understandable if you're teaching people and you're trying to help people, like from a psychology standpoint or a theologian standpoint, like the guy just mentioned, Pastor Doug Perry. Like, and you're putting out a video literally like once every 1 to 2 days, but the point is to read the mail or whatever, and you're trying to help people. Like, You're trying to praying that God gets people out of these situations. See, to me, that's understandable. That's understandable for you to sit there and make a podcast every other day, or sit there in front of your webcam and do that. That's, to me, that's fine. Like if a pastor does that, or has like a blog. I almost said vlog. I mean like a blog. Because I know the pastor I used to work under, mostly just learned under, actually. Not, I sort of worked for him. It was Pastor Robert Furrow of the Calvary Church, and he's on the AM stations. You can listen to him. I listen to him like here and there in the mornings when I'm driving to work on the AM stations, like 790 or something. And like these channels have literally sermons like every day of the week, like every day. So, I mean, the man's been doing it for like 30 years, but still, I mean, that's a lot. But to me, that's fine. That's understandable. It's just, but if you're sitting there playing video games like nonstop, or you're talking about stupid things like makeup tutorials and doing unboxing of opening DVDs and Blu-rays you brought in the mail, like that's just, you're just wasting your time. Like you're wasting everyone's time. That doesn't contribute to anything. You're not, it's like coveting, like you're just you're glorifying yourself, and the fact that you think that you think your channel is just so cool or something. Like it's really, I would say it's something that's really, like really lame. So, I don't know, man, but that's just me, I guess. Like, I mean, I watch Pluto TV, which is free cable that I kind of found by accident on my smart TV, and they have a channel called Minecraft TV where it's 24/7 people playing Minecraft and just sitting there building things. Like, you're really gonna, I mean these people just do not take into account that they're gonna die one day and they're gonna have to account for their lives, and they were literally just sitting there either watching TV all day or playing video games all day, and that's all they did with their lives, just sitting in there being a hermit like for 14 years straight, and then they can't take it anymore and they end up blowing their brains out. Like it's just so toxic. It's so like, it's like self-sabotaging, like you're just being like that. You're just beating yourself up and you're running. It's like you're scared and you're running away from something. When I see guys, especially around my age, who are like in their late 20s, early 30s, and they're still playing video games like 4 hours a night. It's like, come on, like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, there's work out there to be done. There's not enough missionaries. There's not enough pastors. There's not enough teachers. There's not enough people going out there for God's church and then pulling people that are in really desperate situations. Like you're literally pulling them past the gates of hell. There's just not enough people doing that. I'm not talking about the people that work full time. I'm saying, like, if you don't have a job and one of your family members or whatever is paying for you to live like at their place or your own place, and you're just sitting there not doing nothing but you're playing video games all day, it's like, come on, man. Like, come on, you need to get it together. Like, you need to be self-sustaining. Like, you can watch literally any of those Dr. Jordan Peterson videos, even the bite-sized philosophy videos, and they'd be like ridiculously helpful. So anyways, and it's a bit of self-reflection too, because I did used to do that when I'd be just sitting there playing StarCraft for like 6 hours, or Total Annihilation on the computer, because I would consider myself, out of anything, I probably consider myself back then like a PC gamer kind of guy. You know, I don't like the Xbox One, PS4, like all this stuff, man. I don't care about any of that. But it's just video games. I'm a casual gamer. I'll play them here and there. I mostly play billiards, but I'll play for maybe 10, 15 minutes, like a day. Like, if that. Play fighting, like UFC or MMA games. Play puzzle games of like how to solve puzzles. You like if the ball's rolling around on the screen kind of thing. Like, or even like Candy Crush. I mean, I don't even think that game's popular anymore. I don't know. Do people still pay money for that game? I don't know. I think in 2019, someone in culture would have said, we're going to walk past this street sign down the block, and this is the new thing we're looking at. I don't know what that would be, actually. I don't know what's popping off right now. I haven't been paying attention. But, all right. So that's the first half of the show. I'll be right back. All right, guys, back to the Death Church. I was actually thinking about this. It was actually not the other day. It was actually yesterday. I was in the car talking to my brother. I believe we were going to go pick up my friend. And what I was telling him in the car as we were driving, because we went to Costa Vida for dinner. And even though it's really expensive, the food is really good. It's really tasty. It's like a better version of Chipotle. But, because I don't know where you guys are at, but here in Tucson, we have Costa Vida. So anyways, we were talking about his career and how, because he's got a full-time job where he's a collections agent, but what he really does, what he's passionate about is doing stand-up comedy. And so I was just telling my brother, like, look, dude, you need to branch out, because he debuted at this comedy club in front of like 40 or 50 people, and he actually did a really good job. So, and this was last March. I remember the second time he went on stage, I filmed it, but then I had to get a new phone and I lost the video. So I can't be showing that video to you guys or anything. I can just talk to you about it, like just tell a story. But anyways, so I was telling him last night that, dude, you need to start branching out, and you need to stop doing certain things here that is not necessary for your career. So next month is what, it's February. It's the second week of February right now. And what my brother is currently doing is he's still doing clubs, but he told me that he got concerned about going to the specific cafe downtown, and that he's been going to every Friday for like the last like 2 or 3 months, maybe longer. And it's this gig that happens every Friday, and you have to put your name on a list, like what he does with all the other places that he goes to. He goes to like 5 different places, but only one of them closed down, but 2 out of the 5 that he goes to has an audience, like a somewhat good amount of people going. So he said, man, I just can't pull myself to go to this thing tonight. I just can't do it anymore. It's because he's doing comedy in front of other stand-up comedians that he also does comedy with at all these other places. So the only people watching, it's a very small select group of people, and all that's happening is they're just watching each other do sets, but no one's laughing or anything like that. I mean, I went there because I think I was going to go on a date or something, but it ended up not happening. So I went downtown and saw my brother do stand-up at this cafe. I'm not going to say the name of the cafe. I don't want to get in trouble here. I don't want to give any negative connotations to it, but let's just say I'm not going to go there a second time. And excuse me, I also got a frog in my throat. But so anyways, I didn't get to do a stand-up, but I was watching other people do stand-up, and then we left. So, but the thing that was kind of negative about it is that no one was laughing. It was just, it was like a pretty negative atmosphere, and it's one of those they eat their own kind of thing with stand-up comedians. It's just very negative. So, not saying that can't necessarily be a bad thing, but I feel with him, because of also all the amount of hours that he works at his job, that it's just gotten to the point where he's wasting his time, and that he needs to branch out and start going to other cities to start doing stand-up comedy, start getting booked for gigs that are just in front of people only, instead of playing to the fact that, oh, just because we can get your name on a list and then you can perform, you're going to perform in front of 5, 6 people that are also stand-up comedians, and they're just scoffing at you, and they're purposely not laughing at anything, and then everybody bombs and everybody's angry. It's just, what is the point in that? But so I told him, you need to possibly get an agent and start branching out, because he's been doing this for 11 months now. Even though he has a bad reputation around town because of it's a double-sided issue. He tells a lot of dark humor and humor that I even that I find personally like really inappropriate. That's not funny with some of the stuff he says. Even though most of the stuff he says is really good, it's just a little too much at times, where it's a little too gross or a little too dark. It's also, I would actually say, 50% of the fault of the people that he works with that put him on these gigs, and because of their political affiliations and certain clubs that he goes to and bars, it's hard for him to get on stage. So it's actually both of their faults. But it's just being around. I mean, a lot of these comedians that are on the low end level of the entertainment life, at least from what I've noticed when going to these clubs to watch him and these other people perform in front of literally nobody, a lot of these people are really bitter from what I've noticed. They're just bitter, negative people, and like they're just doing it, but they're not even having fun. It's like, what's the point? The whole point is to make other people laugh, to help them relax from the stressful day that they've had, but these people are just so far into themselves and they're just so self-absorbed, and it's just people I just don't prefer to be around. And I told him quit. I basically just told him straight up, just quit doing clubs like that. Don't do that anymore. You don't need to hone in your skills by having yourself bomb every time you go in front of these other people, because they are purposely being mean to you, and then you're mean to them and they're mean to each other. It's just, there's no point in that. The whole point is that you're supposed to start making money off of it, and that you're branching out to actually get casual fans in to watch your show. And to make people laugh. That's the point. The point is not to perform in front of other comedians that don't think you're cool or funny or anything. It just seems like from when he vents about this kind of stuff, sometimes it's just like, I think of myself, most of the time I don't say it, but then I think of myself like, dude, why are you wasting your time? Quit going to these cafes. Anyways, so hopefully he's going to be branching out and taking more gigs, and he's going to start touring around the U.S. and then maybe spend like 6 to 8 months in New York and then do the same thing in L.A. and come back and, just do the life that, just do the life that he's supposed to be doing, I guess. And that's a thing it's like a thing within me, because I would have certain things about like being a writer per se, because I've written 6 books and I've written, I write a lot, but then I think to myself, well, God didn't call me to write. So I don't understand how these passions that are within you are things that you're supposed to be doing or not supposed to be doing. Because I'm one of those pastors that teaches about the calling that God puts on people. When he puts a calling on you, that's what you're supposed to do with your life. Like he told me to be a pastor, so that's why I'm doing this show, and then that's why I'm doing the Bible study on Wednesdays. That's what I'm supposed to be doing, but then I have these other passions and other places that are kind of, I guess you could say for the most part, they're secular interests, but I have a passion for them, so it's kind of, I don't know, like it's kind of a strange mix here. So that's okay. I just saw something really disgusting. Just churned my stomach for a second. My fireman friend, who is currently in school to become an EMT, he has just shown me a picture of a severed hand that looks like chopped in half by an axe. And again, it's a scenario situation, like, okay, what are you supposed to do to stop? I'm assuming what you're supposed to do to stop the blood flow and whatnot. And I mean, it's actually not that sickening. I see this stuff at work every day. So, I mean, I work at a surgery center. I see pretty disgusting things. But anyways, so, it's just, anyways, I was also going to talk about my week, not just about my brother and complaining about that. I drank a whole lot of water last night too. I think that's why I don't have a hangover. I actually woke up feeling normal. I felt fine. I mean, I drank a couple of beers. I had maybe about 2 or 3 shots of vodka or Amsterdam, but then with it, I would drink half of a whole water. So then I think altogether I had maybe like 6 drinks, but I had 6 drinks of water too. So anyways, I guess that's why I don't feel so bad. Actually, I don't feel bad at all. I feel pretty good. But anyways, so other than that, what's been going on my week is actually not really that much. No, actually there's a lot, because I now have a literary agent, even though I just talked about that at the beginning of the show. Just not really that much, just working still. I'm now 15 months into this job, so once March rolls around, I've been at the job for 16 months, which means that matches when I used to work at that car wash back in California as the longest job I've ever held. So, because with me and jobs do not go hand in hand. Me and jobs, we're not friends. So I go because I need money, and I don't want to keep taking money from my father to pay bills and guilt tripping him into paying for rent and paying for clothes and food and whatnot. I'm just, it's just something that I just got sick of because I was doing it for such a long time. But no, not really that long, about 2 years. But that was because I was just in a pretty bad situation. So, pretty bad financial situation. So, it's just, I don't know, I don't really know what else to say about that. So, anyways, not really much been going on in my life, just working on the book right now, working on the new poetry collection and writing a whole bunch of notes while I'm at work. And hopefully it's going to be the thing to get me away from this job, and then hopefully it will get me away from the fact that I never have to do another 9-to-5 job ever again. Hopefully. It's just something to definitely pray about. My ideal life is just basically to go back to what I was doing previously, except with money this time so I can be self-sustaining. That's the point. Even though I have to throw down a lot of money to this person for this publishing house, I got to throw down a lot of money for a contract fee. This may be the way out. So then I can just go back to what I was already doing, and I can go back to my sleep schedule and go back to working out during the day and walking around and then watching TV and reading when I want, and just, just having, even though the life seems a bit lackluster, it's just something where I can just feel like I can start to relax and feel like just relax and just start feeling good and just feel better, because I am consistently and constantly stressed because of my job. It's just anything in the medical field, really. But I don't know. I guess this was supposed to be just like a self-reflection kind of podcast today. Instead of doing the Q&A about talking to other people, I actually feel a lot better now. So I guess I'll just go ahead and get off the topic about complaining about my life and complaining about my love interests and whatnot. I feel like just a little too much of that. But so, that's pretty much it. There's nothing really else to talk about this week, other than, just hung out with my brother a couple of times this week, and came over and just watched Unsolved Mysteries and watched detective shows and things like that, and stand-up comedy. But and also just exercising and walking around. But that's definitely probably the main thing I miss about being unemployed, is that not only could I just wake up whenever I felt like waking up, instead of having a thing where I have to wake up at certain times, it's pretty much all the time that I have to wake up at certain times early in the morning, because I'm a night owl. I like to go to bed late and I like to wake up late. It's just, that's what's natural for my body. But getting up and then doing like what I did when I was living at my parents' house, I'd get my headphones on my phone, being that I was like at 100%, and then I would just pluck the thing in, I put on a podcast, and then I'd walk around for about an hour to an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then come back home. And I would do that probably about 5 days a week. And I really miss being able to do that, but I'm not going to be doing anything crazy and getting up at 5, 6 in the morning to go just walk around, then get ready for work and go to work when I'm walking or running or jogging at work anyways for 8 hours. It's just, I'm not going to do that. All right, so we'll be right back for the last 15 minutes for the segments. So looks like I just wasted money on Zeus. And if you know Pastor Sean, you know that Pastor Sean's been looking for Mrs. Sean. And that this female that I was talking about at the beginning of the show, I mean, that was kind of the thing I've been looking for. But now, you know what? I just need to stop. So I just need to go through one of those things. I think it's just I've been going through withdrawal because I haven't been in a relationship for about maybe 2 or 3 years, something like that. Maybe about 2 years. And what I need to do right now is to quit using these dating apps and services because there is no good-looking single woman living in this great city of Tucson. So I'm going to be canceling my service on Tuesday, so that's 2 more days. I'm going to try to use Zeus, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to delete it because I'm not paying for another month. It's been nothing but annoying. Drinking a Coke for breakfast. So, yeah, I mean, it's just something that's been a little frustrating, but it's just, you know what they say, man, it is what it is. I don't want to start this podcast over again. I tried to finish the entire podcast yesterday, hence tried to, but I couldn't do it. So, I'm going to try to finish it today. Just got word from my friend that he is still at the resort for the weekend, but once he gets back home, probably sometime in the middle of the day today, he's going to edit and then throw the episode on for this week's show. So actually, I thought we were going to upload it next week, but instead we're going to be uploading it this week on the second week of February. So this one's still going to replace the whole Q&A February Vice Forum video. This one's still going to be replacing it. But, guys, I want to talk about this video game here. I'm not really talking about much Christian things right now. I'm just talking about what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling, what's going on in the week and whatnot. And I bought this game, and I'm so glad that I bought it. It's called Total Annihilation, or TA for the ones in the forum. I bought it for $5 off some website called GOG Gaming. And it is awesome. I love this game. I used to play this game when I was a little kid, actually. So, this game is really, really fun, and it's really, really addictive. It's a war strategy game with robots. And this is one of the very first games, probably other than Final Fantasy Tactics. This is probably my all-time favorite video game. Even competing with the likes of StarCraft 1, if you know what I'm saying. I'm definitely a PC. Oh, it's good. Okay. The cloakable fusion reactor is finished being built. So now what I'm going to do, put that right there. What you're going to want to do is put your Gatling gun on top of the hill so it has the best shot at firing at most targets at once. Okay. Probably should put a little laser next to this just for defense. And I do need a metal maker. What's this? Hovercraft platform. See, this is like the 3.1 version. I was playing this back on the Windows 95 with my old friend Mike back when we were little kids. I've been playing this game as probably as long as I've been watching NFL football. I've been watching that since I was a fetus. So, it's what I threw up on my Facebook. The night of the Super Bowl, that I've been watching this game since I was a fetus, and this is one of the worst games I've ever seen. That's what I said. So, I don't know, the Blue Squadron is sending in planes up to this area. So I'm going to need to take them out by putting up these Defender missile turrets. And I actually would prefer playing this game with a mouse, but that currently right now is something that I don't have. So I did have a mouse, but I'll put one right there, one right there, one right there, and one right there. Okay, so I did have a mouse, but I lost the USB port that plugs into the computer. So I can't I'm using this little, the doohickey that you slide your finger on in front of the laptop. That's what I've been using to play the game. Even though pretty much for any PC game, you really just need a mouse to play it. So, anyways, the episode is going to be coming out, which is pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. Wasn't feeling too hot last night. I ended up going to bed actually around at 9 actually. I know if you guys can believe it, on a Saturday night. And I was actually waiting for a text from my friend, who was actually a girl that I thought wasn't going to be my friend. I thought she was actually going to be my wife. And then she said she don't like me like that. And so I said, hey, if you want to FaceTime or call me, go ahead, and, I'll be up. And she said, okay, I'll keep that in mind. She never called. She doesn't want to have a friendship with me. She doesn't want to have a relationship or nothing. I scared her off. So she said we went too quickly. Just to each his own, I guess. I don't get it, but, to me that comes off as really annoying, but I don't know. I did it to a woman that I felt bad about. I don't know if I actually talked about this on a previous show that I put out. I don't think I did, but, it's just something I do sort of regret. It's just I don't know. It just seemed like we just did not have anything in common, and she just was not going to be a good fit for me, because I'm looking for a wife, for a woman I'm just trying to live by the Bible standards. I'm trying to do the best I can with being under God's sovereignty in the church. Excuse me. So, anyways, it's just a thing where I just don't really know if it's ever going to work out, really. I may just be one of those people like the Apostle Paul in Christ that just never got into a relationship with a woman. So, where it sticks, it just completely sticks. However, I was talking to a woman up until Friday, where I think I scared her off, though. I have a tendency to do that. But, when you have abandonment issue problems and problems with depression, it's pretty difficult to date, because most of the time it's either I'm being too superficial, where it's just, oh, I'm sorry, I can't date you, oh, I got plans, but then when you find that one and you're just being way too, not inappropriate, but you're just throwing yourself all over this woman by texting her every 10 minutes or 5 minutes, nonstop calling, you're acting like all giddy and stuff, like you're still in elementary school or something. It's just, it can get kind of cringy, and it's understandable when the women that I talk to, the women that I've spoken with, where I honestly wanted to have a relationship, they did not like that. So, I don't know, go over here. We need the commander to make some metal makers here. I'm going to have to make some new turbines, even though I made 12 of them. I'm going to make some more now. Anyways, it's okay. I got the power plant up. So, anyways, oh no, I already have that super one up. Where did I build that? Because I have a super metal maker. Right here, found it. I'm going to turn that on. And there we go. All right. So it's good. It's the white army versus the navy blue army versus the red army versus the black army, and I'm the black army. I'm the arm. We're going to get 2 cores in 1 arm, so it's a fatal 4-way elimination, just like in wrestling. Actually, no. Here, Commander, just go back to this. You don't need to make any more of those. Okay. Anyways, so I was talking to this woman, and she was I was talking to my coworker about this on Friday, saying, what, she's really, really Christian-y. She talks about Jesus a lot, and she talks about Bible verses a lot and whatnot. And I told him, honestly, it's a bit off-putting because even though that's exactly what I'm looking for, I never really expected that to happen. So it was a little, it was a little odd for me that I was talking to a woman who was just so enthralled and loves the faith so much and loves Jesus so much. It kind of scared me a little bit, because usually the women that I date, even though literally all the time I don't realize that they're just so far off and far away from God. I don't know, maybe it's like that forbidden fruit thing that really plays in me sometimes. Maybe just plays in all men of women you find really sexy, and that, okay, you can now have premarital sex and whatnot. I'm not promoting that, I'm just saying that's a thing that's of the man's heart, just something that you want, not trying to live out wicked expectations and then wicked acts per se, just saying that it's just something. I mean, the thing is, I want to be married at this point. I want to get to know a woman. I want to get engaged again, except this time actually go through with it, and I want to be able to get married and, kind of just live happily ever after. But, it's just God has other plans. It's what it is. God has other plans for us. So, other than playing this game, I actually have to work on my book today, so I'm going to be driving over to my parents' house, asking my father when we can set up a payment plan, because I actually owe a lot of money to the IRS. And so, not too much money, I could actually pay it off with one check, but, the amount's actually not that much. It's like a bill, but, set up a payment plan to go hang out, and then I have to go over his house. It's going to allow me to focus while on his computer to write the book. So, the book, it needs to be worked on, because this could be my way out of the job I'm currently working at. And after talking to my coworker, who's been out for he's been out for about 3 weeks now, going on 4 weeks, going on a month, because he had shoulder surgery. So hopefully he should be coming back, not this week, but next week he should be coming back. So, coming back to work. So, it's just like I was telling you guys on the other, couple of times I was doing these shows, the job is just really hard and it's really difficult. I've now celebrated 15 months at this job, which is now the second longest job I've ever held that was a full-time job. So, without doing other things. Pastor Sean here has the heart of I guess I have a heart of a shepherd, a heart of a gypsy. I'm always moving around to different places. So, I mean, that's what it is pretty much. Excuse me. So, it's just one of those things where, with me, I'm a hopeless romantic. It's just never going to be enough. I never know when I'm going to. It might be like turning into Lewis Black, where he's like 70 years old and he never had a wife and he doesn't have a girlfriend and he doesn't have any kids, and he's happy about that. He's happy being single. My brother is like that for the most part. For me, it really bugs me, and it consistently bugs me. So, it's just a thing where I'm just going to have to lower my standards, I guess. But preferably, I would like to date a Christian woman. Like John Piper has like a 3-4 minute video online of him, his advice on for Christians to date. And so, because dating's not in the Bible per se, you meet a woman and you get married. So even though in our culture that's really bad, because marriage is a really complicated thing. It's just not something you can jump into. So unless I need to go to a class or something. I did before, back when I was in California. I went to this class at the church I was going to about finances and marriage. And you had to pay for it, but I was broke. But Pastor, what's his name, of the middle school ministry, he just let me in. He's like, oh no, just go. He's like, no, it's just, you don't need to pay for it. Just go ahead and just go in. So I went in and watched the service, and then I remember it being actually really, really beneficial, because my relationship got much better for a little while with my ex-fiance when I came out of that service. Like everything just made like complete sense with man needed respect and the woman needs love. So, except with me, my problem is I throw so much love at once, it scares off the woman like a little rabbit or something. Thanks for listening to